Hi, friends, and welcome back. Dr. Annette here. This is our third session in our first module, focusing on our Blue Ribbon Teacher Professional Learning Series and this course, How to Support Students to Overcome Writer's Block. How are you doing? I hope that you are doing well today and that your learning is just skyrocketing. A little quick reminder. In order to make the learning skyrocket, remember today's lesson is going to build up on our prior lessons. So always move through this course in chronological order. Take time to reflect upon your learning, practice integrating the strategies into your instruction, and then engage in more reflection. And as I've shared before, that reflection is key. All right, are you ready to move on? So get that toolbox ready, get your notebook ready, and I am so excited to share some more research-based strategies to support you and your students overcome writer's block. Now, as we move into this lesson, I want you to engage in self-reflection about the learning that has taken place in this module, from student challenges to teacher challenges. And I want you to continue to examine your teaching context and engage in ongoing self-reflection. All right, let me change the slide here. All right, so enough doom and gloom. What we're going to do now is to look at some additional proactive strategies to overcome these student and teacher challenges. Okay, so a few proactive strategies that teachers can do to provide frequent practice. I want you to think about your own writing program right now. How often do the students write? For what purpose do they write? Are there opportunities for peer-to-peer discussion? Is there an opportunity for teacher feedback, one-on-one teacher feedback? Is there sharing happening within the classroom and outside of the classroom? And I want you to be thinking, what about using those pictures to elicit more writing? Each one of these is a very effective proactive strategy that can support student writing. Okay, so if there's one of these questions that you're not really identifying and actually doing in your classroom, think about how you can do it. Do your students write in math? Do they write in social studies? Do they write an answer to a question as an exit ticket at the end of the day? What is the purpose for their writing? Do they have time to just joyfully write, or are they always told what they need to write about? Are there opportunities for students to engage in that peer-to-peer discussion before they write? Remember that oral talking we discussed earlier? Are they able to have opportunities to discuss their thinking about a question before they actually write a response? Do you have opportunities throughout the day to give them feedback? All right. Think about all these different ways that students can share their work, engage in writing. Each of these is a proactive strategy to support student writing. All right, let's look at this next slide. I want to read this directly. This comes from a book called Because Writing Matters. NWP is the National Writing Project. Okay, so in this book, this research-based book, teachers not only need to have students write more, they must also give students a rich and diverse array of writing experiences. So this goes right back to our proactive strategies. If you are not taking the opportunity to engage students in a variety of writing experiences, that is something that you need to do. So being proactive, okay? Another proactive strategy are those I notice statements. All right, now this goes into another realm of learning called Love and Logic, as far as a philosophy of classroom management and discipline, if you will, in your classroom. Okay, but those proactive strategies using an I notice statement. So I encourage you to make an I notice statement throughout the day. Focus on other things that the student is doing well that's not associated with writing. So if you have a student who's struggling with writing, focus on those I notice statements outside of writing class. If you have a student that's struggling with reading, focus on I notice statements outside of reading. If you have students who are having behavior challenges, focus on I notice statements that are not related to the behavior challenge. Some specifically when we're talking about writing here, are they playing nicely? Are they making a list, right? So Are they reading quietly? So you can say, like if you see Sarah and Eli are playing nicely, Sarah, who struggles with writing, I love how you're playing nicely with Eli. You're working together and sharing. That's great. Okay. So when a student notices something that, or when a student hears something that you notice that is not related to a struggle that they have, what you are doing is you're building up that student, you're building up that confidence. Remember back from lesson 1, we talked about confidence first, learning comes second. Okay, so build up that confidence. If the person's making a list, yes, it happens to be writing, right? That's a purpose for writing. Acknowledge that. Let them know that you love how they're writing their thoughts down, they're making a list, and this is one way that we can communicate. Is the student reading quietly, or they wore a special dress or a hat? Acknowledge that. Again, remember to build up that student in other areas that are not associated with the struggle area. Okay. Engage in conversations that are important to the student. That's another thing to do. When you get to know the student, you develop a relationship. All right. And these are very important pieces to support struggling writers to overcome writing challenges. Okay, so remember that these tips here that I'm sharing are not just focused on writing these proactive writing strategies, but you can think of these I notice statements as opportunities for developing reading, overcoming reading challenges, overcoming behavioral challenges. And whenever you look at the first point about providing frequent practice, think about if the student is struggling in reading, what are some ways or some opportunities that you can provide to support that student in reading. Okay, if it's behavioral, right? What do? We model. We have that student practice when they are in their frontal lobe. When we have them practice appropriate word choices, appropriate behavior, so that they can be successful. Okay, so again, build up the students. Let them know that you appreciate them, that you see the greatness that they're doing. Okay, build up that confidence, and then learning comes next. All right, so I want to read this one to you again from the same book, Because Writing Matters. When the student believes the caring adult knows without a doubt the student can be successful, the student gains confidence in self. Let me read that again. When the student believes the caring adult knows without a doubt the student can be successful, the student gains confidence. Have you ever heard of the quote, "My teacher thought I was smart, and so I was"? As an educator, you have the power to make or break a student's day, to make or break their attitude, to make or break their spirit. Okay, the words that you say, the actions that you do with students within your classroom are huge. They are paramount to the student's success. Never ever forget that. Okay, so all right, I just shared some additional strategies that teachers have more control over in their classroom. And again, these are what I call proactive strategies to support your learners, not only in writing, but in reading, in math, behavior, okay, other areas as well. So use these strategies alongside all of the strategies that I shared in the prior 2 lessons, and your struggling writers will begin to be a successful writer. All right, my friends, let's recap. Our essential question, our success criteria, and our strategies, and our teacher-controlled proactive strategies for this session. Okay, actually for this entire module. So the success criteria, the success criteria is why students experience writer's block. And we looked at initial strategies to support those students struggling. Okay. We then examined 4 other areas that students experience struggles along a continuum of writing success. So remember that students can enter into each part of the continuum based upon their own personal writing experiences, regardless of their age. However, now you have numerous strategies to support the student along the way. Like I've said, I don't know how many times I need to make a little quote thing on this. Remember, build confidence first, and learning will come next. Learning will happen. Okay, let's look at our next section here. So then we examined some teacher challenges. Well, some teacher challenges here. So let me move on because we just focused on this area. As you can see, we still have session 2, session 3, and session 4 for additional strategies, okay? So after the 4 initial strategies that we focused on, student challenges and some strategies to overcome that, then we looked at some teacher challenges and we identified some proactive strategies to support your students, not only in writing, but also in other content areas and behavior as well. So these effective strategies work wonders when they are integrated with the strategies that we shared and learned in the prior slides of our lesson. Okay? All right, so now, my friends, this is going to wrap up our learning session. Our session 3 wraps up our module 1. So our module 1, we are focusing on students experience writer's block and strategies to support those writers. So now I want you to let me know how these strategies are helping you with your struggling writers. In our next session, we're going to focus on learning from the experts with model texts to unlock writer's block. Okay? Now, I want to know from you. Let me know if you tried a strategy and didn't experience success. I'd love to hear about your successes and your questions. And I want you'd also provide me some additional ideas for some more training, right? Tag me in your social media posts and email me at any time because I love hearing from you. Okay, so going into our last phase here, are you finding value in this professional learning series? I know we've only completed module 1, but it's been jam-packed with information. I hope that you did, and I hope that you are still learning great information. And you know what? There may be another friend who will too. So please share and invite them to learn more about this resource. Invite a friend to learn more about the work that we're doing and use your unique referral link to save on the next Blue Ribbon Teacher course. That's right. Remember, just down below, check out the Friends and Family Give 10%, Get 10% section for more information. I love being able to share rewards with the students that I currently have and help with and as we help other teachers overcome the same challenges and learning that we are able to experience. Okay? All right, my friends, that is going to wrap up our lessons for today. I look forward to seeing you again soon for session 2, okay? And until then, I wish you each a wonderful day.